Hey, it's Tara here again, and I want to share another past life regression with you. This one is me as a Native American. I want to kind of backtrack and set the context for what was going on. I was in Buellton at a hip camp, and I was doing a past life regression for a woman who um, life at the hip camp was kind of, a lot, there was a lot going on, farm life and dogs and people. And, so I said, where can we go that's just a little more quiet, a little bit more peaceful? She had these brand new storage containers, like the big shipping containers, beautiful. Okay. Painted white inside with the floors, or it was absolutely a beautiful space. And she said, hey, will one of these containers work? I said, yeah. So she brought in a lawn chair and some white Christmas lights, and I asked if she had any music or any a speaker that she could use to play them some music. She had these yard speakers, okay, and they were Bluetooth, and there was 4 of them. So she put the 4 inside the storage containers and Bluetoothed it to her phone and started playing the music. And I was like, this is perfect. It turned this storage container, just in case you have an extra storage container lying around, you need to do this. It turned the storage container into this beautiful sound bath. It was wonderful. So I did the past life regression, or we did the past life regression, and afterwards, we got out, we kind of reflected on things and talked, and then I was staying the night there, and so I said, hey, mind if I go hang out in your new sound bath? So I went in there, laid down. Oh, it was beautiful. And I started to just really, relax deep. And I wanted to do a past life regression, but I was really enjoying the music, so I didn't want to put a guided past life regression. Now, I usually use my own, obviously, and use that to guide me further and bring out the past life regression story. But I didn't want to turn the music off because it was so spectacular. So I just was laying there getting really relaxed, and I thought, is there a way that I can I've done enough of them now to myself. Is there a way that I can just kind of have it happen? And so I did, which was pretty exciting to me because this was a first for me. So I brought in a few elements of my script, and was just able to just kind of think about it. And then I do really well with countdowns, so I counted myself down and, brought myself up. I saw the continents as I do in my sessions, and there's the boot, the big Italy boot. And I was like, no. I'm just imagining it, which is very typical for more of the first ones. And I guess this is probably because this was a different kind of experience for me, not being guided through it. But like I promised myself, I'm just going to go with it. Just go with the story, okay? Don't fight it. Flow with it. So I see the boot. I'm like, okay, it's just because it's iconic, but I'm going to go with it anyway. And bam, just north and to the east a little bit. Very specific location, just a little bit, okay? I thought, oh, okay, I know where I'm at. Saw it. I was a young boy, and I was getting in trouble. And my father had a switch, I guess you'd call it, like a branch that kids used to get the spankings with, the switch. And I was dreading the switch, but I had done something with fruit. So I imagine I probably stole some fruit or something. Somehow fruit was involved, okay? I was getting another spanking. I remember thinking like, oh, there's another spanking. My dad's so mean, right? And as I'm going through, I'm like, okay, he was my dad, but he wasn't my dad. He had white skin and I was dark skin. And I was a youth. And so I delved into that a little bit more. I was a Native American. And so in my head, I'm trying to process, which you're never supposed to do, trying to process how a Native American is just north of Italy. And okay, so I, let that go, let it go. My father was very white. Okay. Then I brought myself to our eating table, a place where family gathers. and I saw the mama, and she was a little larger, and she's cooking, and I knew that she loved to cook, and she always cooked us really good food. And my father's at the table. He was they were foster parents. I was an orphan. And I sat at this table, this dining table, with other Native American boys. We were all foster children. We were all orphans of this man who was very stern. He was very stern, kept us, we were whipped into shape, basically. But as I went with that a little bit further, and somehow our relationship wanted to show me a relationship, I loved him very much, and he loved his boys so much. And he was really stern, but he did it so much out of love. And I can still feel the emotions of that love, that he, how much he loved his boys. They were his family. They were his only family, him and his wife. And he had a very deep connection with them. But it was easy to not like him because he was so stern and strict and whipped us into shape. And I even, I didn't go into his passing, but I knew that when he passed, it was a really hard time in my life at that point. So anyway, fast forward. So I fast forwarded a little bit to, also, in my thinking, I was, okay, if I know I'm Native American, I feel it, like I know it. So how did I get there? Okay, so I'm processing how did I get there, and I could see my mother pregnant with me on the journey on a boat. Okay, so, all right. I feel like she probably passed. I did not have a connection with her. I know that. Maybe I passed it, she passed at an early age. I'm not sure. So I can only assume that this man and his wife just took it upon themselves to foster a group of children, okay? So at this point, I'm like, this is so outlandish, like Native American, okay. Anyway, so I fast forward into my life, young 20s, and I was very, in shape. I carried myself very, very well. I was like a proud, and I didn't dress as a Native American. I dressed in the culture, but I still had pieces that reminded me. So I had a feather in my hair, and I had something, some kind of memories that I was carrying. And I could have gone deeper into that, but I didn't. So, and this actually was the day of my death, and I'm on my horse. Like I said, I'm very proud. I just remember like my head held high as I'm looking out, and very athletic built, kind of a handsome young man. And I got shot in the back. Actually, I know exactly where it was in my back. Got shot with an arrow by a woman. I guess I feel like I'm almost holding a grudge against this woman. That's odd. So this woman was not Native American. That's all I know about her. And that there was some kind of relationship, not necessarily with her, but maybe with another person, like jealousy, deceit, something, okay? I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was bad enough that she felt that she needed to shoot me in the back with an arrow. The arrow did not kill me. I knew that very distinct, okay? Got shot in the back. With that movement, my horse, I feel like it was a white horse too, like my other past life. My horse went off and I fell backwards, and that's what killed me. Now, if you've heard my other past life regression about dealing with a white horse, I loved my horse and I was in battle with my horse. So this is the second past life regression now that I've had that involves horses, my deep love for my horse, and on the day of my death, which I find really interesting because I almost hate to admit it, but I don't care for horses. Like, I absolutely love them. Like, I'll pet their nose and their eyes are just so intriguing to me, right? But I have no desire to hang out with horses. I have no desire to ride a horse. I actually grew up in a valley with a lot of horse ranches, and a lot of my friends had horses. And I think I rode like one time. I really had no desire. Like, my friend, oh, let's go hang out with the horses. Like, oh no, let's play with Barbies instead. Or, like, and I realized, not through this past life reflection, but on my other one, that I was so sad I still had such a connection to my horse. And so possibly this one I had that same connection. And so I just almost don't even want anything to do with horses because of that, that day of death and reflecting how much I love my horses. So anyway, okay, so I need to regroup here. So when I was done, and I didn't want to be done because it was so relaxing, and but it was time. So I kind of brought myself back too, and I'm reflecting on and I'm still like, did I make up the whole Native American part? 'Cause I get the dark skin, up there in Italy, but like, okay, so I'm reflecting on it, and I'm saying I'm gonna fact find it. Okay, so did my best to, research. Okay, oh, and also I knew that the time period was pre-1800s. I knew very well by the clothes we were wearing and the things that we were doing. So, hold on, I printed it out. Okay, so fact found it. Okay, and here is what it says. Okay, so in my quest to find how did Native Americans get to Europe, like how is that even a thing, right? Okay. Native Americans journeyed to Europe as visiting dignitaries, willing or unwilling travelers, and slaves. Now, I believe that my mom was going over as a slave. They were most frequently cited in European states engaged in colonial projects, Portugal, Spain, France, the lower countries, in England. Particularly during the first century of encounter, many did not survive their exposure to disease and living conditions of Europe and died before they could return to the Americas. Yeah. And this was out of Oxford. I'll post it in the link where this was out of so you can read it. But anyway, there it is. Another past life regression, and a momentous one because it was my first unguided past life regression. So I thought that was kind of cool. I feel like you can develop that with more past lives that you go through. You can just connect with it a lot. You can connect with it easier. And it was really cool to actually think that, have that thought, that theory, and then see it actually happen. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, all right. See you later. Bye.